Hello, everybody. It is Tuesday, and that means it's another episode of Bod's Mayhem Hour live podcast. And today I've got Andy Haught, and Zeroking has released their second full-length album entitled American Savior. And I want to welcome back vocalist Andy Haught to the podcast, and we'll see how metal Andy is in the How Metal Are You segment. So, how you doing, man? And welcome back to the podcast. It's been a while.
I'm doing well. It has been a while. This is actually our third full release because we put out a record right at the beginning of the pandemic, which is a great time to release an album. Because you can't sort of support it. Anyway, it was called Empire of Sin. It's on Spotify and all the streamings, but we just kind of did that independently, and but it qualifies as a full length, I think.
How good does it feel to have this album, American Savior, out now? How good does it feel
Oh,
to finally get this out and be done with it and move on?
yeah. I mean, we're really happy to get it out. So when the pandemic hit, we realized we couldn't really play shows, and we actually never stopped practicing. We were still practicing and still writing tunes, and so we were like, well, we're working with this guy, Jason Baker, in Dunbar, and we're like, why don't we just do an album? That way, when everything's normal again, we'll have a record ready to go, and that's what we did. We spent most of 2020 and part of 21 recording this, and then we sent it to a friend of ours, and he really liked it a lot. And as a result, it's out on Vanity Music and Weapon Records. So we've got major distribution on it, and things are happening. So we're really happy to get it out there to people, and we're getting great response from it so far. So
Mike Wilkerson said, two of my favorite people. Thank you, Mike. I slipped you a 50 on that one. I appreciate that. No,
thank you, Mike.
just kidding. Mike's a good guy, and check his stuff out for Blast on Mike's incredible show. Check that stuff out too, because Mike does all kinds of stuff. He's got cooking he did last night. It does ripping cards, which I like, sports cards, wrestling cards, things like that. But go check him out. So
Yeah, absolutely.
working with Jason though, how was working with him on this album?
With Jason, it was really easy. He I don't know, man. It's just like whenever you kind of want something, like you can just explain it to him and he knows exactly, but he's like two steps ahead of you basically. So yeah, it was just a really easy process. I think Chris tracked his drums maybe in one or two sessions, and then we all kind of just went in individually during, like I said, 2020 and 2021. And I think we were finished with it before 21 even hit, really. There might have been some mix issues and things like that. We got fixed after that, but
I hope I pronounced his name right. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say Jason Baker is a really talented guy. He actually just he left Dunbar, West Virginia, and got a job at Sweetwater. So come February, he's going to be a full rep at Sweetwater, and he moved to Fort Wayne up there. So we're actually tracking with another guy here in town now, and I'll get into that in a moment. But Jason's still going to be mixing our stuff, so we're really excited about that. Still continuing to foster that relationship. So.
Again, I hope I do not butcher this guy's last name, but Mike Defoe said, "What's up, Andy?"
Oh, Mark Defoe, yeah, from Kings Hollow.
Mark, I said Mike. I keep saying Mike. Mike's talking about me.
That's okay. Shout out to Kings Hollow, absolutely. We go way back with those guys. Mark's a good dude.
If any of you have any questions for Andy, please put them in the chat room. We will get to them as soon as we can. And again, if you are using Facebook and you're trying to comment, you have to click on that link that I posted in the interview that I've been posting. I post the interview stuff, what's going on. Plus, I posted that link. You have to go and follow that. So I apologize. It's not me. That is StreamYard and Facebook. That's them. So Mark says, I love Zerokings evolution through the years. So there you go, man.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much, man.
How long did it take to complete American Savior from start to finish?
I guess if you start with the writing on this record, most of the writing was probably 2016, 2017, and finished in like 2018, maybe 2019, I guess. So, but probably about 4 years to write it. And like I said, we put out a record at the beginning of 2020, and so we were recording that record during the time that we were writing this one. And I guess when JP came back in 2018 is when we really kind of solidified what the record was going to be, and just kept writing until almost up until the time we recorded. We were making changes and stuff like that before I mean, I don't think we had to change anything once we laid down basic tracks, but yeah. So like for probably a 4 year writing process, and then another maybe, whatever year or so to record it.
What led Dead or Dancing to be the first song released off American Savior, man? What was it about that song that said, yeah, that's got to go out?
Well, we were already playing that live, and we were getting really good response, and we kind of just thought it's a really good straight ahead Zeroking song, really. I mean, it kind of harkened back to some of our early stuff, the 54 XTC stuff, like from the Sweet Sale of Excess EP and things like that. Sort of a heavier, more. I think our sweet spot is like somewhere between heavy and dancey. And I think that song definitely has both. Sometimes we're a little on the dancier side, sometimes we're a little on the heavier side, but yeah, that song is straight down the middle, Zeroking.
What's the growth, though, Andy, that you've seen from this band, from the debut album all the way up to this album, plus having that break in between? I mean, have you seen anything like grow musically with this band, or maybe added something that came out of left field possibly?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's always growth in the writing and our performance, and we, hopefully keep getting better. I think we do. And a lot of people seem to tell me that we do. We made once the pandemic was over, we kind of just like used it as a reboot point. We knew we had a record ready to go. We were looking to play new places, and it was a little slow at first, but we started to do that. Started to go to Indiana, and then we made friends with some people in Michigan, some promoters up there, and so now we're hitting Michigan. We're going back, hitting some of those same cities again. Starting to make some headway up there with radio and things like that, which I'll be announcing some stuff pretty soon as to where you can start to hear Zeroking in Michigan on the radio there. And 105 here in town, here in Charleston, has really gotten behind this record, and they're really pushing our single Back Off. And so, I mean, there is growth. It's just a very gradual thing. And I'm starting to see it be a bit more cumulative now. People who have been fans in the past are starting to come back and being like, oh, well, we didn't know you guys were still around, and it's cool that you guys are, starting to do more again. And we really never took a break. We actually we kept playing. We had an issue in 2014 where our bass player left. Paul, he left to go to Nashville. He had some opportunities down there, and we had a couple guys come in during that time who filled in, and actually one of them is Tom Kofer, which I think he might be in the room. I don't know. He said he was going to be checking in with us at some point. He recorded the bass for Empire of Sin during that time. So we were always busy. We were always playing. We were always recording. The only difference was we just weren't out on a national level for a few years there. And then we kind of found our way back.
My good friend Derek is in the chat room. Always more videos. What's up, my brother? Go out and check his stuff out. Also, we have Sean Farrell. He says that when y'all coming back, and have you got any word on shows in Toledo?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I do, Sean. Sean's a good friend of ours. We met him when we opened for Puddle of Mud at the Hootenanny 2 years ago, I guess 21. and he came up and saw us in Detroit. He's from the Toledo area. We're actually going to be at Prime Nightlife March 11th, and I'm not sure who we're playing that show with, but I know we're doing that, and then we're going to be in Saginaw March 10th. So that I think those are pretty much in his area there. I don't know how close he is to Battle Creek, but we're in Battle Creek, Michigan on February 3rd. Had to think about it for a moment, but yeah. So we are coming back to the area, and it'd be great to see you again, Sean.
Tom Coffer is in the chat room. He just said, "Yep, I'm here." And
Tom Cofer, there he is.
And then Bless on Mike, always growth is the new version of drugs. And that's true, man. I feel like some bands are stagnant, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean that's just what they're used to. That's their niche. But go outside that box a little bit, breathe a little bit, man. See what you can intertwine. And if, and I always feel like, fans are going to get mad. They're going to leave us because we're not metal. We didn't get up and eat, our metal Wheaties and all that stuff. Who cares?
We've actually never worried about that. We've always been, we know what our strengths are, but we're not afraid to go outside that and experiment around a little bit. We've always kind of done some softer stuff, some poppier stuff, some heavier stuff. So yeah, I mean, you never really know exactly what you're going to get with the Zeroking album. We try to mix it up and give you a lot of different styles, within our framework, of course. But yeah, we're definitely not afraid to blur the edges.
Folks, I'm sorry I have to keep looking like I'm a boomer because I'm on a laptop and my PC shot. So it's not shot. It's just not doing what I wanted to do. Anyway, let's get back to the local scene there, especially playing live shows. Man, for me, it seems like Huntington and Charleston, specifically back in the day, that's where you wanted to be here locally, Eastern Kentucky. That's where you want to go play it. And now it's just like, there's nothing there.
There's not a whole lot. And that's kind of the thing too. It's like when we got the opportunity to have this album out, and it's actually going to be coming out in Europe. It's going to be coming out in Japan. Those releases are coming this year. When we got a chance to really put this album out on a bigger scale, we said to ourselves, well, we're not going to limit ourselves to just this area. We're going to go out and break new markets. And if we lose money at first, that's fine. We'll try not to, but we're willing to put the road miles in and go out and play. And so this year already, we've got ourselves booked in 6 states, and we're looking to expand from there. And we'll see where everything goes. But things are really on the up right now, that's for sure. And we're loving all the support and the attention that our old fans and our new fans, coming on board, are giving us right now. So
Tom Coffer says, "Yeah, Back Off started as a disco tune."
It did. Wow. Well, kinda. So originally the bass line was a guitar line that Shane brought to the table, and Tom started playing it on bass, and that changed the whole dynamic of the thing. And he was like, "Yeah, man." He was like, "I think I'm just gonna play this like." How did he explain it? So I'll just ask him, what was the disco thing that you picked up on that you kind of like adapted? I'm asking Tom right now. See if he'll tell me. Because I don't know exactly where he said he got it from, like the idea, but it definitely changed the feel of the whole thing and really made it pop.
So would you say this was the song that changed the most on this album? And what it was intended to?
Well, I mean, so the guitar line wasn't even a song yet. It was really just an idea that Shane had. And so once this song took form, we played it with Tom, we played it with Steve, and we played it with JP. And JP did make some changes to it that made it flow a little better. And we kind of probably messed around with the arrangement around the time that JP got in the picture as well. So I don't know if it changed the most, because there was a couple other songs. Thorazine is a song that got some things added to it right before we went in the studio, some parts. And then I want to say that Dilligaff also had some pretty major changes, because it had, maybe it wasn't Dilligaff. Oh, American Savior had some different changes because it had a whole different like intro riff on it. So I mean, things were always changing during the writing process, and which is kind of our process anyway. We don't settle on it till we really feel like it's really really strong, and we're always kind of tweaking things right up into the last minute. Chris was giving me like background vocal ideas and things like that, like almost up to the day that I was going into track. He would send me things sort of on his phone or whatever, and be like, during this part here, try this. Okay. So
Tom said that he thought it could be Chick, possibly.
I'm sorry, what? Oh,
Tom, Chic or Chick.
yeah, that does make some sense. That makes some sense. It probably was like sort of adapted maybe from a Chic idea or something.
So Shane Day, guitarist of the band, he directed the video for Back Off. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So we brought in Matt Napier to shoot the video because we really liked some of the stuff that he'd been doing. I think he did a video for What Drives the Week and some other people, the Oracle, some other guys out there. So we brought him in to shoot the video. Shane has a embroidery t-shirt design business. It was called Embroid Me. It's called something else now. I can't. I should know it, but I don't. But I think it still says Embroid Me on the sign. In any case, one of his clients, Alan French, runs the Chesapeake Karate Academy, and Shane does some embroidery and things like that for their uniforms or whatever. Their I guess you call them gis, maybe. I think that's it. And he was talking to Shane one day, and he was like, "I would love for some of my kids to be, in your video or in a video, I guess." And Shane was like, "Oh, okay." So he started like thinking up a kind of a concept around like karate. I guess he might have been watching Cobra Kai at the time or something. I don't know. And Alan says, "Well, I know this girl out of young lady out of Detroit, and she's like a champion karate person." My terminology is probably screwed up here, but in case, she's been on like the cover of like Black Belt magazine, and I've actually watched her compete on ESPN2 and things like that since we shot the video. And so Shane came up with a story, and Alan pitched it to Kaylin Kowalski. She's the star of the video, and then they brought in another guy who I think is like a gymnast champion. He's done some competitions and things like that. And I guess Alan knew both of them through various competitions that he's involved with around the United States. And Shane pretty much came up with the entire storyboard. We showed up probably about 4 o'clock, and he already had most of it all shot. And we kind of just did our performance thing, which was kind of different because usually we're a lot more hands-on with the video, and we kind of just like left it in Shane's hands and came out pretty awesome. Really dig it. If anybody wants to check it out, it's on YouTube, and the song's called Back Off, and that's the song we're really getting some good radio response. Like I said, from Rock 105 here in Charleston, West Virginia, and there's a station out of Bowling Green, Kentucky. It was actually the first one to jump on it, and they've been playing it. And like I said, we're getting ready to announce a few Michigan State stations coming on board, and hoping to pick up some other Kentucky places. And
it's always good to keep it in house, man. I mean, anything that you can keep in house, artist stuff, because that's very expensive. You know that. Yeah, keep it in house. Got some other people out here in the chat room. Ed Kowalski.
Oh, there we go. There's Kaylin's dad, Ed Kowalski. Hi, Ed.
Yeah, and again, folks, I'm not a boomer. I'm just looking at the screen because it's so tiny way they set up. Mark Defoe says, I've always wondered who's one of Andy's biggest influences.
Okay. So early influences, probably AC/DC, Twisted Sister, Quiet Riot. I could rattle off a whole bunch of like 80s metal stuff that I came up on, and then of course later, say Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses and things like that. Metallica,
Yeah.
Ozzy, Judas Priest. I mean, my metal pedigree is pretty strong, but I also have been influenced by a whole lot of like the pop that I grew up on, and like power pop that I've discovered, over the years. And so I mean, I don't know. I sometimes tell people that my influences run from the Beatles to Dimmu Borgir.
Oh, dude, that's a
That's a fairly deep reference, right?
I feel the same way. I feel like I have music ADHD because it's like I'm listening to this song and then let's go to this song and wait a minute, that sounds good too.
Yeah.
I always give my mom crap because she listens to country music all the time and she's always like, "You're trying to get to that next song," and I'm like, I always make fun of her, but now I look at her, I'm like, I'm the same way. It's like, why did you do this to me? Don't do this to me, Ricky Bobby. Are these all brand new songs or songs that were in the vault from, like, say, previous albums that were not used, possibly? Any of these songs on this one?
So there are a few.
Okay.
Most of it's new. Shut Up and Get on Stage, I think, goes all the way back to probably like 2011, 2012, and was just never on a record. But we wanted to put it on one. And I almost want to say that the vibe of that song doesn't necessarily fit with everything else that's on the record, but I think it works because it kind of there's a lot of heavy topics kind of addressed on American Savior, and Shut Up and Get on Stage is just kind of a goofy, it's just almost kind of a sarcastic, funny song because it's basically about strippers that won't shut up. like, and some of the lyrics are actually some of them were given to us by a bouncer friend of ours that worked at a strip club, and then others were sort of like experience that we observed, I guess, doing our research.
Research. I like
research.
Now we're all going to the strip club tonight and we're telling our wives and girlfriends it's for research for this new single.
We're writing a song. Yes. We have to keep going back. We got to figure out what we're going to
keep going back.
What we're going to say in this song. Yeah. But yeah, so that song has actually been around for a long time. We actually used to play it live every once in a while back in the day. Back around, like I said, 2011, 2012, something like that. Trying to think if there was any other songs on the record that sort of predate those writing sessions. I can't really think of one. I think that's probably the oldest thing on the record would be. So the answer is really no. A lot of it, pretty much all of it, I think was written for this particular record. So,
do you guys want to keep going the full length route? Because everybody's attention span is like 1.5 seconds. Have you guys, thought about just doing a couple ideals here? Like maybe do a full length, but released every track, one track each month till it's completed, or just put an EP out every 6 months, maybe.
So we haven't really figured that out. We like doing records. We like doing something that feels like it has a beginning and an end, sure. And sort of takes you somewhere. Has sort of a journey throughout the record. But the next things we're doing are smaller EPs. Like we've got a cover EP that I've been laying down the vocals for. Shane has a little bit more guitar to do on it, and we'll have that out fairly soon. And I guess I'll go ahead and give you the title for it. I've said it a few places. It's really funny. The title of the cover EP is Hand Shoes and Horse Grenades. And then we've already got the idea for the next EP, which is also covers, and I think that might be called Hand Shoes 2 Electric Boogaloo. Don't quote me on that. I'm not exactly sure that's what's going to be called on the second time around. But so we've got that. We're actually we've got some more original stuff that we're going to record, and some of that is older and some of it is newer. So we haven't really figured out if we want to just follow up with an EP or do another full length. Probably we will kind of just put content out for a bit until we kind of settle on what the next step is.
And I hear all these bands talking about you don't want to oversaturate. You don't want to oversaturate. But you've went through the pandemic and you've got some tell me that they've got like 3+ albums ready to go. And I'm going, are we really going to see those albums or those songs and everything going to see the light of day? Because you know just well as I do, you're a musician that hey, your mind frame could be somewhere totally different than let's put these albums out that we had through the pandemic and be like, no, let's just move on. That's my question. I wonder if they will see the light of day, some of these.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say, if you've got that much material, then maybe condense it down to one really good record. and if that one hits, then try it again with another batch of songs. Or a good EP. I don't know. I don't really have the answer for that one. It would be cool. I think the more content you can have out there, the better, honestly, because it just has each little piece that you put out there has more chance to hit new listeners and spread and sort of give you, and then once people find any part of that, usually they go out and check your other videos or your other songs on Spotify and things like that. So
I want to throw this in here too, and I'm not taking anything away from this interview. I just want to throw this in here because I have a notorious mind of forgetting. But another local group, Downtrend,
yeah,
they have a new single called Backroads. It's really, really damn good.
Yeah, it is.
And they've took a hiatus there for a little bit, just like Josh said. People get burnt out and they just have to step back for a while. And I think, man, this has refueled their fire in this song. Yeah. You can actually hear it.
Yeah, I think so too. We played a show with them in Sandy Hook a couple weeks ago, and they sounded better than I've heard them sound. Of course, that's the first time I've heard them in a long time too. But I think we were playing with them probably 2019. So that was probably the first time in 3 years or so that we'd done a show together. But they really seemed like they were hungry for it again. Not that they never came off as not hungry or whatever. Right. But I just feel like they've got some new passion for it, maybe. Which is, if you're not playing new places or playing new songs or opening for bands that really excite you or whatever, it can be easy to kind of get discouraged and kind of lose the fire. We've never quit, but we've certainly become a little bit more at times, like, oh well, what are we doing here? Is this really getting us anywhere? But now, I just feel like everything's starting to kind of click. We put out step one was have a good record, and then step two was have a good video. Now it's like, okay, we need another video. So that's our next step. That's our next thing, I think.
Any track standing out more to you than any right now on this album? I know these are your guys' babies. I understand that completely, but do you have any that stick out personally for you?
I enjoyed doing the INXS cover. I thought that was a really neat, because I always kind of wanted to cover that song. I love INXS. Several of us in the band do. I always wanted to cover them. And we were working on, and this is a little bit before the pandemic, we were doing some acoustic shows. And I kind of toyed around with the idea of like, what if we played this song acoustic? And so we did. I think we only got to play it like once live, maybe, but it went over really well. And then the pandemic hit. And then we were like, hey, we're getting a good reaction on, this video or whatnot, like a live video that somebody shot of the song. I said, but I don't want to do it acoustic on the record. I want to figure out some way to do it somewhere, more like us, I guess. Yeah. And that's what we did. We didn't really heavy it up or anything like that. We stayed pretty true to the original, but obviously we don't have, an orchestra or anything like that. We had to do it a little bit more stripped down than the original for sure. Some people are really saying they like it though. They said they like the sort of darker atmosphere that we've given it. So
I would have.
other songs on the record. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was just going to say a couple more songs on the record that I really dig. Dilligaff is a lot of fun because I get to be a little bit so like my heavier side of my vocals gets come out on that one a lot more. Sort of a Pantera-ish kind of vibe on that tune. I like Soldier Song a lot too. Soldier Song is a song that JP brought the music in for, and I was like, okay, this is really cool and different for us. It's kind of a sort of a 3/4 waltz, I guess. And then Chris really knocked it out of the park with the lyrics and the melody on that one. And for anyone that hasn't heard that song, it's pretty much about how we kind of like make heroes out of our soldiers when they're in war, and then they get back over here and they don't have the resources.
nothing.
Yeah, they don't have anything really helping them, anybody helping them. So if they've got, mental issues coming out of war or whatever, some of them end up, homeless and things like that. So it's kind of shining a light on that we need to do more for the soldiers that come back and are damaged in some way, whether it's physically or mentally or.
I agree with that 1,000%, and I'll back you on that 1,000% because they're making the ultimate sacrifice, man. I mean, and I said this a million times. We sit here and be done with this podcast, and let's pass away. I mean, it could just happen in the blink of an eye. But these guys, they're taking a chance of getting like popped, and I'll just say that in a nice way. I don't want to,
sure,
but those guys are guys and gals, I should say. Yeah, those guys and gals need everything that they could get. They should have. Oh God, this makes me blue in the face because I get so aggravated with it. They should have everything as far as like medical, all that stuff free. I mean, it should be. They should be exempt from. I mean, not exempt. They should have everything totally at their disposal, free. You're good.
Yeah. I mean, they should have housing. They should have mental health resources, physical health resources, whatever. I mean, yeah, they should never have to suffer. That's for damn sure.
Does each album, Andy, challenge you as far as keeping that traditional Zerokings sound, and just a little bit of lemon spice in there, just like Emerald says, bam, and that little bam in there.
Okay, so it's never really we don't ever really know where the record's going to end up when we start a process. And a lot of times what we do is we kind of just pick the songs we have, because we've got a lot more stuff that we've never recorded, obviously. So we've kind of got this idea maybe sometime to do a record of all the stuff that didn't make the cut. Doesn't mean it wasn't good. It just didn't fit the project or whatever at the time. Sort of a lost children kind of thing. So we kind of just decide, like, of the material we have at the moment that we've never put out, or or that we've written recently, what really kind of fits together, and kind of gives us a kind of a complete picture of what the band is into and digging at the time. So yeah, I mean, it's always a challenge. We like to challenge ourselves. We like to try to write things that we haven't done. And then, of course, sometimes things feel familiar, and that's okay too, because, if people like what we've done in the past, then we hope they'll continue to dig what we're doing now. Letting the train go by there. Cases.
I can hear you fine, man.
Okay, I just didn't know how loud it was on the thing there. I'm literally right in front of a train track. I didn't quite think about that where I parked, but
on a train track, Andy. Good Lord.
Yeah. I live dangerously.
I do too.
It's part of being in Zeroking, right?
I do too. Every first of the month at the grocery store, I park in that little handicapped spot. And buddy,
yeah, I'd say consequences be damned.
My mom's handicapped, and I use that sticker. I slap that thing in, and people look at me. Oh, I get those angry, like stink eyes, man. He's like, oh God, don't look at me like that.
So I mean, I hope I answered that question. I'm not really sure if I did, but
We good. We good.
Yeah, cool.
Tom Kofer says, and again, I'm not a boomer. I'm just looking again. American Savior has that feel that any or all of those could fit into your live show. That's a good point. And I wanted to ask this too. Is it rolling in your mind of doing a live album possibly soon?
Maybe,
Hmm.
maybe never say never. That's interesting. Because
Oh.
yeah, we've got 3 albums and some EPs and things like that. To draw from. Kind of do a good cross section of our best stuff in a live set. I don't know, but I won't rule that out.
Uh, Sean Farrell, and I'm going to try to ask this if I don't stumble on all these words here. Do you have? I feel like I need to take a game show mic. Been down there like that when I do these. Do you have anything planned or already have a song with each member playing instrumental, then coming together into a hardcore energy driven explosion, like anesthesia, pulling teeth, rolling into whiplash? Which that's a good question. I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I like instrumentals. I think that shows what a band can actually do, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know that we've ever really done a full on instrumental. Um, you
Try.
know, I, I'd have to pick up a guitar, or just take a break. But I mean, I could play some guitar. I'm a guitar player too. I just don't play in the band. I write on guitar and things like that. Um, and I've actually talked about uh, starting to play some guitar live on some stuff because we often write, or Shane often writes separate parts anyway, and then he has to kind of pick which one he's going to do live. So yeah, there's always extra guitar stuff that I could probably jump in and do. Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know. That's something worth asking to the other guys too. See if
Andy's Andy's thinking. I can tell in his head. I can just look at him. He's thinking.
I'm like, yeah, make that. They can make that instrumental about 8-9 minutes long, and I could go take a break. And
Let's talk about this a little bit. You mentioned this,
Mhm.
having like a Pantera-esque song on this album.
Mhm.
Your thoughts on this? I want to say tribute. Everybody don't like the tribute thing, but sorry, it is what it is. No Dime, no Vin, not Pantera.
Let's say a celebration of Pantera. How about that?
That's fine. That's totally fine. Totally
Yeah.
fine. Do
Yeah, I
you?
think it's been said by a million people probably, that was the best people they could pick. There really is no better choices, I don't think, than Charlie and Zach. And plus, they have that personal connection too. Um, Zach and Dom were great friends, and Charlie, well, I mean, hell, Dom played on some of the Anthrax albums. Um, Anthrax toured with Pantera. In fact, I saw Anthrax and Pantera at Hare Arena. I want to say 97, maybe. I don't know. I think it was Southern Trendkill tour, probably.
I got to see the mighty Pantera on Ozfest and Ozzy.
I did too. Were you at the Columbus where they had the riot?
I was in Columbus at the amphitheater. Ozzy played that night. So this is like 2000, 2001 when I was up there.
Okay, see what I'm talking about was so Pantera played with Oz at Ozfest in '97 in Columbus,
Oh, yeah,
and
no.
that was the show that Ozzy didn't play, and there
Oh,
was a big huge riot. But got to see one of the coolest jams like ever because Ozzy's band came out, and so Phil sang at least one song, Marilyn Manson, Pete Steele from Typo Negative, Rob Flynn from Machine Head. Maybe Emergency Bell from Fear Factory. I'm thinking. Anyway, there was like 5 or 6 guys that had played that day that all sang a different Ozzy tune. And then Phil was the one who announced to the crowd that Ozzy's real sorry, man, but he can't be here. And then they lost their
Oh
minds.
man, he didn't even make that show up, did he?
Yeah, he made it up.
Okay.
He in fact, that was one thing he told the crowd. He was like, Ozzy's going to come back in a few weeks. It's not going to cost you guys anything. And he played. And I want to say the opening act was like Neurosis or something, which I thought was bizarre, but maybe that's just who they could get on short notice like that or whatever. But yeah, I went to the Ozzy show after that too. And then the next year was the Sabbath reunion, which obviously Bill didn't play that, but so I've never actually got to see Sabbath with Bill.
Being a local band, man, what's your thoughts on seeing any new up and coming locals that could potentially, go further out there? Maybe.
Okay. So I really like this band called Taylor Road a lot. They're out of the Danville, Kentucky area. Young guys, probably, I think the oldest one's like 22, and their energy's just off the charts. And they're going to be in Sandy Hook with us February 25th. So yeah, Taylor Road's a good one. There's a band called The Switch that's out of Charleston that I really dig. Those guys are young too. They've just got kind of it's kind of a classic sound, which is pretty neat. Being that they obviously their parents have been some sort of influence musically on them, or they've just gravitated towards the sort of classic 70s kind of hard rock sound. They really have kind of a AC/DC, real straight ahead rock and roll vibe. I dig it a lot. Other bands that I kind of dig that out there, Phoenix Rising, another young band out of the Detroit area. Sort of an 80s approach as far as the sound, but the music has a real classic vibe, like a Thin Lizzy or a Montrose or something like that. But through sort of a 80s kind of filter, I guess. Like they're really into like Warrant and Striper and Firehouse and bands like that. And not that they sound like those bands, they really don't, but you can tell the influence is there, you know. So that's like 3 really up and coming young bands I like out there a lot. Other bands we dig playing with, of course, we like Downtrend a lot. We like Gravel Switch. They're out of the Bowling Green area. We're going to be in Owensboro, Kentucky at Milligan's with them on February 11th. And we're bringing them to Charleston. They've been here before, but they're going to play a place called Sam's with us March 24th here in Charleston. Other bands that I really dig on the scene. And you're just talking like more up and coming stuff, right?
Yeah, locally, stuff like that.
Yeah, locally, regionally. I don't know. See, it's weird. It's like we play out of town more than we play here. Probably because there's so few places to play, and the places that are here, we beat them to death. We played Blue Parrot and Empty Glass like a million times, and we'll probably always go back and play those places. But we try to limit our local stuff a little bit more, so it makes it a little bit more special. And then we like to play new places, go out and play new cities and stuff like that. We're hitting some places we've never been before. South Bend, Indiana, February 4th. Where else are we playing? We're finally playing Pittsburgh, March 18th, at Mr. Small's Funhouse, which is pretty neat. So we're playing there. Coming back to Lexington. I'm all over the place with these dates, but we're coming back to Lexington for St. Patty's Day. So we're going to be in Lexington on St. Patty's Day at 11th Frame.
I hope you guys are out there digging this, because I really want a lot of people to come on here and interact with us, man. And artists talk to people, because I think that's few far in between these days. So you guys coming in here chatting and talking, I tremendously appreciate it. I know Andy does too.
Yeah, absolutely. Any kind of questions anybody's got or comments, or tell me you like something off the record, or you hate the songs, or whatever.
Tom, hey, Tom told you to pick him up in Morgantown on your way to Pittsburgh.
Oh, well, he knows that he knows how this works. He's got to get a hold of Shane and clear that. I have no problem with that at all, and I don't think anybody in the band would have any issue with it. But he would definitely need to talk to Shane, because Shane drives the bus, so to speak, when it comes to that.
Who did the artwork on this album?
So Shane did that.
He did it too. Okay.
Man, yeah, Shane is what's the word I'm looking for here? Indispensable.
He's a jack of all trades.
He is indispensable. He really can do a lot of different things and does them at a very high level.
What do you hope everyone takes away while listening to these new songs from Zeroking, or just anything from you guys? What do you hope to get from it, man?
Well, I mean, first of all, I hope people just dig it and enjoy it, and I hope it makes them rock out and kind of forget about. Sometimes our songs are more whimsical, and sometimes they're more serious. But even if you just take it at a surface level of, wow, that riff's cool, or or that this song makes me hyped, or whatever, or think a little bit, that's cool too. We just hope that that people enjoy what we do and enjoy seeing us live, and we love it. I mean, we just hope that kind of other people do too. We wouldn't do it this long if we didn't if we didn't absolutely love what we were doing, and enjoy writing music with each other and performing, and the whole the whole trip, the camaraderie of the whole thing. And yeah.
Sean told Tom that he now owes you $40, because Tom said, I owe you 20. Now this trip we will owe you 40 for another 20. So Sean's helping you out there.
Oh, okay. I'm not even sure what
this is hilarious, dude.
Who owes what now?
Tom said that he forgot to tell you that he owed you $20. So then Sean's like, well, now you owe him 40 to give you, another 20 to take him, and now there's $40. He owes you $40.
Oh, okay. Tom doesn't owe me anything. I probably owe Tom countless gas tanks, for coming and pick me up and stuff like that when we were practicing together, when he was in the band.
All right, this is a burner before we get into how metal are you.
All right.
So if you could be a member in an iconic band and play one of their mind-blowing iconic shows, which band would it be, and what show?
And what show? Wow, that's tough.
Yeah. No easy questions on here, sir.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, being Gene Simmons circa 1977 or so, maybe on the Alive 2 tour, let's go ahead and pick Budokan. That wouldn't suck, right?
No, that's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah. We'll go with that for now.
Okay. Now we're going to play How Metal Are You? And I showed Andy this earlier, which I love, which I won't be able to see any of your comments, folks, because I have my wrong buzzard ready. That's what I'm waiting on. Waiting on to play that bad boy. So
wait,
five questions.
All right.
And I hope Andy don't lose his medal card. Okay.
Yeah, let's hope not.
You're on the hot seat, sir.
Aren't I always?
5 questions. And I'll give you about 10 to 15 seconds to answer. So
okay.
Here we go. Question 1. Which musician has competed internationally in fencing and was once ranked 7th in Great Britain?
Bruce Dickinson.
Oh my God. How did you know that?
I've read his book, but I'm a big, huge Iron Maiden fan. So,
okay,
he's sort of a Renaissance guy too. He's a jack of all trades. So
that's true. I'll give you that one too. In 1970, I'm sorry. Question number 2. So far, he's got that metal card still right in place. In 1970, which heavy metal group performing in Denmark changed their name to, and I hope I pronounce this right, the Knobs, under the threat of a lawsuit or tarnishing a family member?
So in 1970, they were performing where?
In Denmark.
Denmark. Well, and you said it's a metal band?
Yeah, metal group.
Okay.
Come on, Andy.
So the obvious answer here maybe will be Black Sabbath, but that doesn't make a whole hell of a sense. Okay, that's wrong. So is it Deep Purple? Led Zeppelin? There's only so many bands in 1970 anyway.
I got one. I got to play my buzzer 3 times already. All right. Question number 3.
Do I get the answer?
No, you missed it.
No. I know I missed it, but do I get the answer?
Yeah, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, so it was Zeppelin. So it was my third choice.
I gotta have to play the buzzer. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Get your metal face on. You ate your metal Wheaties this morning. You pooped and peed metal, all this metal stuff, whatever. Which English heavy metal band was formed in West Bromwich in 1969, and which band was formed in 1977 in Barnsley? There's 2 answers to this. The first one is, which English heavy metal band was formed in West Bromwich in 1969?
So that would be Judas Priest.
Dang it. Okay. Got that right. I may need to rethink this game. Anyway, second one. Which band was formed in 1977 in Barnsley?
I am going to go with Def Leppard. Wrong. Okay, cool. Barnsley, huh?
Saxon.
Oh, Saxon. Okay. See, I was in the ballpark there. It was new wave of British heavy metal era for sure. I was going to say Diamond Head maybe, but you know.
Yeah, same ballpark.
Yeah, same ballpark.
All righty.
I'm not doing very well, which is funny because it's not like I don't know metal. So but whatever.
Well, that ain't what the buzzer says.
I know the buzzer tells all.
Buzzards are awesome. Anyway. What is the real first name of Ozzy Osbourne?
That would be John.
That is correct, sir. That is correct.
Yeah.
AKA John Marshall.
It's actually John Michael Osbourne, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Which 3 bands? This is okay. Final question.
3 bands, huh?
Which 3 bands were referred to as the unholy trinity of British hard rock and heavy metal in the early mid 70s? There's 3.
In the early to mid 70s. Unholy Trinity.
Yep.
I know. I mean, is Black Sabbath part of that? Obviously, they have to be, right?
That is one of them.
That's one. 2 more. So early to mid 70s. I don't know. Uriah Heep. I'm wrong on that one, huh? Unholy Trinity. We've already said Deep Purple, but I'll go ahead and go on Deep Purple, maybe.
Yes, that's exactly right.
So Deep Purple is one of them.
One more, Mr. Hawk. One more, Mr. Metalman.
I don't know, Motorhead. I'm wrong on that one too. All right, I don't know, Rainbow. All right, what's the answer? I got 2 of them.
Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Zeppelin again. Okay. Yeah.
And that concludes How Metal Are You? Andy wins a trip back to the house, nice cold beer, and you get to keep your metal card. So
Thank you. Wouldn't want to lose that.
I'm trying to incorporate some new stuff in this, guys.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's all good.
everybody loves this. So there we go. Let's see who's commented now, and then we'll get Andy out of here. Wow, let's see. Tom said, "Son, you're losing."
I wonder if he would have done better. I'll send Tom next time.
Oh, Tom's going to be on the podcast.
Oh, with paybacks
Oh,
a bit.
Yeah, he's going to be on here.
Cool. He can tell you about the history of that band, how it actually included some Zeroking members there for a moment.
And then we're going to get him on. How metal are you?
Yeah.
I can warm up the buzzard again.
Yep.
That'd be awesome. Let's just check the chat room right quick. Let's see. Oh, they were talking about pepperoni pizza and stuff like that. Anyway, I'm glad they're having a good time in the chat room. This is what this is all about. I need more people in here.
Yeah.
So come on, folks, join this. If you like what I'm doing, bringing these bands on here, doing these live podcasts every Tuesdays and Thursdays, please let me know. Go subscribe to Bod's Mayhem Hour and the YouTube page. Please, that would tremendously help me. That's Bod's Mayhem Hour YouTube. That's all you got to put in there. Bod's Mayhem Hour. Andy, my friend, as always, how can folks stay in touch with you? Buy this new album, all that good stuff, Zeroking wise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to reach us is our Facebook page, facebook.com/ZerokingFans. I've got a page. Personally, it's Zeroking Andy. Chris has one. I think it's Zero Chris. Shane has one, but he never uses Facebook. So yeah, our Facebook page, our YouTube page, which is Zeroking Official, I believe. Our Instagram is Zeroking Band Official. Just look up Zeroking, you'll find all this stuff. It's YouTube, Instagram, Spotify. Play our stuff, share our stuff.
Yeah.
And, give us likes, give us follows, and help us make some new fans.
Hey, before I let you go, I'm going to start doing this. I don't care. I want you to do another promo for my show because it's been a while since you've done one. It's been at least good, 8 or 9 years since you've done one.
Yeah, I think I was on here to promote Kings of Self-Destruction. Wish I could talk. Kings of Self-Destruction. And that was like 2012. So yeah, it's probably been about 10 years, I guess.
Yeah, because you was outside and the wind kept blowing. You're like, I hate this wind. I hate this damn wind. But
That's
anyway,
you got a better memory than I do about that.
Dude, I still have all these interviews backlogged. There's about 3 years, honestly, that I've not put up as far as like YouTube or anything like that need to see the light of day, honestly.
So we just did a phoner on that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I like this video stuff, man. Everybody can see my ugly face, and I like putting faces with this stuff.
Yeah.
Audio's cool too, but just give me video for now. So, as always, just say, hey, this is Andy Haught of Zeroking, and you're listening to Bod's Mayhem Hour.
All righty. This is Andy Haught of Zeroking, and you are listening to Bod's Mayhem Hour. Check it out, crank it up, pass it on.
Folks, again, thank you for tuning in this evening. I want to thank Andy for being on here for sure. This has been really cool. Again, like I said, I like doing these live podcasts and getting to see people in the hot seat a little bit to see their minds think. But again, if you like what I'm doing, please go out and subscribe to the YouTube page. That's Bod's Mayhem Hour. And just come on and get me over the hump of 1,000 subscribers. I'm so close. Get Zeroking, get Downtrend, get my Blast on Mike, all these people, because we're all in this together. We're all to help each other. It's not an egotistic thing, because that's you will not see that with this group. You will not see that with this group.
No.
Anyway, thank you, Andy, and we'll see you this Thursday. I have another live podcast with Ian Abel. He is a rock, kind of country-ish, but more rock along that side. And he did John Moxley's AEW intro like last year, a couple years ago. So,
Cool.
but anyway, we'll see you this Thursday. And Andy, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
See you all. Have a good week. Have a good doop 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 doop. Have a good weekend.